Delighted to be joined, by the way. Never spoken. Delighted. Ex-Royal Editor of The Sun, Charlie Rae. Charlie, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Jeremy. I'm very well. Hope you are too.
Not bad for an old man. Me, that is, not you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Where do we start? Where do we start? Let's start by, I don't know, where do you want to... Listen, I want your opinion. Earlier in the week, of course, Harry lost that court case. $500,000 it's going to cost him because he can't get security because he's not a working royal. Pay for it yourself, pal, right?
Yeah, to correct you, actually, we paid for that court case, but us, the general public, you, me, the viewers and the listeners, paid £300,000 for him to take that case to court. He is a total disgrace, and he and his wife are a laughingstock in the world now. And
I'll tell you something, and I said this earlier in the week, and you know when you say stuff and people in the studio go, I will have a bet with anybody that within 5 years... that ginger whinger is back in this country with his tail between his legs, and she sat in America, in California, with 2 kids and everything she ever wanted. I think it's I find it abhorrent, actually, bearing in mind what we're talking about this morning about immigration, the cost of living and people's lives. I don't know. They must be more tone deaf than anybody I have ever heard. We are fed up of the whinging. I sort of, Charlie, you know what? When they decided to step back, I respected that. You don't want to be in the goldfish bowl. But then when you sell your soul, apparently whilst moaning about privacy, in my mind, you have no seat at the table, do you?
No, you don't. I mean, this is it. No one minded them leaving. No. It was the reasons they said, you know, we were a racist country. It was a racist royal family, but we're going to America. That was the America, by the way, she was never going to go to while Donald Trump was president. Remember?
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Canada, first of all, but then, of course, she had to go to America while Donald Trump was president. And then, of course, I have no objections to them making money either. It's the way they're making money in the programs they're making. And I'm now hearing that they're now going to do another Netflix film, this time talking about while they were in the royal family, trying to explain. So God knows what they're going to say then.
Well, it's really interesting. I spend a lot of time on the evening show speaking to Kinsey Schofield and other people from America, and Kins will tell me regularly that their star is on the wane in America. That actually, the problem they have, and the problem that I have about the whole thing is, the only interest we have in Harry and Meghan is when, you know, the only thing that they can talk about is to make money by slagging off the very thing they say they don't want to be part of. Sure. I honestly, Charlie, it's so good to get your opinion, because I think they're a joke, and I keep bringing it back to where we're at, and I keep thinking about our late Queen and all of that service, and I think, you know, all the people say, oh, we're being unfair to them. How are we being unfair to them?
And just remember, Jeremy, this guy's got practically a season ticket to court cases in this country. Yeah. He's got about 4 or 5 court cases against various newspapers, over phone hacking, privacy. I mean, you name it, he's got it. It's patently ridiculous. He really is.
Extraordinary story out yesterday, Charlie. A newly released FBI documents...
Yeah.
show Queen Elizabeth II faced a potential assassination threat during a 1983 visit to the United States. First I'd heard of this.
It's the first I've heard of this. I mean, obviously, these are FBI documents, and they keep them secret like we do in this country, and then release them after 30 or 50 years or whatever. Now, it seems that a San Francisco police officer who frequented an Irish pub, i.e. went for a drink, met a guy who said he was an IRA sympathiser, and because he claimed his daughter was killed by a rubber bullet in the Troubles at that time, he was going to kill the Queen. And there was 2 ways it was 2 places he was going to try and do this. One was trying to drop an item off the Golden Gate Bridge onto the Royal Yacht Britannica, so I'm assuming that would have been a bomb. And the other was in Yosemite National Park. Now, you would have thought that the police and the FBI would have closed off Golden Gate Bridge anyway if the Royal Yacht is coming. I'm assuming that was done. Now, the police seemed to know who this guy was. He was never charged with anything. He was in good humour when he talked to the police. So maybe it was just one of these nutty phone calls. But, you know, they kept the document of this. But it wasn't the first time. They've also released documents saying that there was threats attempted threats against the Queen in 1989. and when she was visiting Boston and New York, no specific, details of it. Just they had to be aware of
keep calm and carry on. You wish the younger royals could follow her absolute example. And my other favourite story, I don't know if you saw this. I'll do a sort of supplement. I don't know if you saw the story at the Chelsea Flower Show yesterday when those unwashed eco-warriors decided to spray orange paint on a sustainable garden. Quite interesting. So we had more activists from Animal Rising. I don't know what that means. Is that when animals wake up? They've been arrested in custody after allegedly... Oh, look there. Hey, look, this is the Chelsea Flower Show, right? Here, have a look at this, Charlie, because this is brilliant, right? Here they come. Here come all the weirdos. We're going to spray. Yeah, go on. All middle class. Off next week to their houses in Mallorca. Then we're going to spray some stuff. Yeah, that's it. All over a sustainable garden. And then watch the heroine of the hour. Come on, let's get... I think this woman should get a damehood. I hope this tape quickens up, because there's a wonderful woman that appears from nowhere. Where is she? Why does this never happen on time? Where's the woman with the hose? No, it's not happening. Is she coming? This is live commentary if you're tuning in. These are the eco-warriors you're seeing on screen or you're hearing. Is the woman with the hose coming? Honestly, Adam, this is the worst clip in the history of the world. Right, oh, can I just point... Can you lose it, right? Charlie, do you know what I've just been told? We don't have the bit where the woman with the hose. Anyway, the reason... I know, great. Well, that was great minutes radio, wasn't it? And television. Anyway, the reason I wanted to say to you, Charlie, was 3 women from the group known as Animal Rebellion trespassed on the royal estate Wednesday night and claims they stole 3 lambs who they claim would be slaughtered, and that sums up what the royal family is. Charlie Rae, can I just ask you what's gone wrong with the world nowadays? Because it's driving me nuts.
I have no idea. Now, these are 3 idiots from this Animal Rising, which was called Animal Rebellion, and they are linked to Extinction Rebellion. They were also involved in trying to disrupt the national, the
Grand National?
Grand National, thank you very much. And they're also threatening to disrupt the Derby when that happens. Now, they turn up at a farm in Sandringham, which is owned by the King, and they rustle, in effect, 3 lambs. And they had pretty pictures of them dressed in pink, as the viewers who can see on the screen now. And then they turned themselves in after hiding the lambs away somewhere, presumably some sort of pet farm somewhere about. Now, apparently up till last night, they were certainly still in custody. One of them is well known to the police, who keeps on getting arrested at various events that she's trying to disrupt. But I mean, the thing is, if this was just Farmer Giles' farm and they took 3 lambs, nobody'd be interested. But because it's a royal farm, they're getting some traction in publicity. Now, what the point is of these 3 lambs? They're taking them away from their mothers.
Absolutely.
I've got a cause and everything else. But then again, these are another group of people telling you and me and the viewers and the listeners how to live our lives.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, and always will, with Britain's right to protest. But they're all middle class, dissatisfied, unwashed people who, by the way, Charlie, will not be campaigning next week because it's half term. They'll all be in Mallorca. The thing is, the media are in a difficult position because we're so appalled by the behaviour. Of course, people, listeners and viewers want to talk about it. But then when you talk about it, of course, you're giving traction to them. I saw some footage this week, I'm sure you did as well, about that poor man who was trying to get one out of the road. He gets handcuffed and manhandled by the police, and they're allowed to walk down the roads. And if you are trying to go to work, or you are trying to go to an appointment, or you've got a sick mother or child in your car, if you try and get on, you'll get into trouble. Well, they just walked. I'm sick of it. And I'll tell you something else as well. If they believe that they will ever get public opinion on their side with their actions, they're wrong, aren't they?
They are very, very wrong. And I saw that footage and I was appalled at the way the police handled the chap who was clearly a working guy. He was in his work van. He's
trying to get to work just to pay some tax.
Get to whatever he was doing. But then there was another clip showing you how the German police did it. Yeah. And they came out and they just grabbed them and threw them moved them to the side of the road. So
whole new debate that, though, Charlie, isn't it? Our woke police, victims stuff them, everybody else fine. Charlie, an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much indeed. Charlie Rae, former Royal Editor for The Sun.